Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Manoj Singh Rana, and with me is Aditi Lumba, bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment, and more. The headlines. Union Cabinet gives nod to stimulus package of 6,28,000 crore rupees announced by Indian Finance Minister as part of Atmanirbhar Bharat package. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauds goods and services tax system on completion of 4 years on Thursday. Terms GST a milestone in economic landscape of India. Food-focused safety nets must be ensured along with mass vaccination to overcome COVID challenge, says External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. Indian athlete Duti Chand and swimmer Srihari Nataraj qualify for Tokyo Olympics. And in Wimbledon tennis, top seed Novak Djokovic storms into third round of men's singles. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also to help others to get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. The Union Cabinet of India on Wednesday gave approval to the stimulus package of 6,20,000 crore rupees announced by the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman as part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat package on Monday. Information and Broadcasting Minister of India Prakash Javadekar informed about the decision while addressing the media after the cabinet meeting this afternoon.
जैसे आपको मालूम है कि 2,60,000 के एक लोन गारंटी स्कीम एक कोविड अफेक्टेड सेक्टर्स को मदद करने के लिए और दूसरी इमरजेंसी क्रेडिट लाइन जो पहले ही 2,70,000 करोड़ के लोन सैंक्शन हो गए हैं इसमें और 1,50,000 जोड़ रहे हैं और ब्याज का दर 7% से 8% तक रहेगा 8.25 और सबसे विशेष बात यह है कि ये बैंक या वित्तीय संस्था जो लोन्स देंगे उसको गारंटी सरकार दे रही है.
In another decision, Mr. Zavadekar said the Indian government has also given approval to the announcement made regarding the extension of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana PMGKAY from May to November this year. The financial implication this year over the scheme will be over 93,000 crore rupees. The Goods and Services Tax GST system, India's biggest tax reform, is going to complete 4 years on Thursday. During these years, several key policy initiatives have been taken by the government to make the GST system and compliance mechanism simple, transparent and technology-driven. The GST is a remarkable example of cooperative federalism, wherein all the decisions have been taken in the GST Council by consensus. Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi has said that GST has been a milestone in the economic landscape of India. Mr. Modi on Wednesday said it has decreased the number of taxes, compliance burden and overall tax burden on the common man while significantly increasing transparency, compliance and overall collection.
In today's Hotspot section, we bring you an exclusive interview with CEO of Goods and Services Tax Network, Manish Kumar Sinha, on GST One Nation, One Tax, and Ruchika Chitravanshi, the journalist.
We have completed 4 years of the Goods and Service Tax, and now it's a good time to look at all the benefits that it has provided and some of the challenges that it has faced, especially in the face of a once-in-a-century pandemic that we faced this year. Mr. Sinha, can you tell us a little bit about how far do you think it has been successful in achieving its objectives, the whole Goods and Service Tax?
Goods and Services Tax has to be seen in the context of the nature of reform it is. Post-independence, I would consider this to be the largest indirect tax reform India has undertaken. And therefore, its success has to be seen in the context of what are the fundamental changes it has brought for the country in a very long-term perspective, besides what are the short-term benefits. On a very long-term basis, if you see, for the first time, India has become one integrated market, which effectively is like free trade agreement between all the states and center on one side. Second major benefit it has brought is it brought transparently to the notice of taxpayers and the government as to what are the tax rates, because the hidden taxes which were cascading got removed. And therefore, effective tax rate for very many large number of household goods came down, and effective taxes on each of the household came down. So one empirical calculation indicated that there was substantial saving for each of the households. So integrated market, logistics efficiency, savings, these are the major benefits which have started accruing because of GST. Of course, a large reform is also something where you learn while doing. Not every situation can be predicted when you have launched something as large as this on a national level IT platform. So those are areas where we are constantly improving. So all in all, I will say a very big, large tax reform, very successful for the country. There are areas still where we can improve, and we are working tirelessly to improve in those areas. That's how I will sum up the overall picture.
When you talk about areas that you want to improve, can you list out a few things that are priority right now that you're addressing?
One of the immediate priority areas will be because of pandemic. The small taxpayers or small businesses would be stressed. So GST Council in last two meetings has taken a series of decisions in terms of the period within which they have to complete their compliances, the interest payment which they have to make on late payment of taxes, similarly late fee waivers. So these are the areas where decisions have been taken and we have implemented it. So those are the areas where MSME is being helped. And on IT portal where taxpayers used to have problems, we have over a period of time improved the overall hardware as well as the software of the IT of GST portal, which is serviced by Infosys, run by GSTN. Now we have very smooth running system with glitches for having come down, almost eliminated it. If there are any, we will further want to improve that. Then there are areas of policy where improvements are feasible, but that is for the government to perhaps clarify. For me, I will say that giving a ease of compliance on IT platform is where GSTN comes in. And I personally would say that in the last 6 to 8 months, we have done considerable number of things which have eased the life of taxpayer. One of the most important thing which I will mention was a policy initiative was quarterly return and monthly payment. Earlier, small taxpayers, you also used to file monthly return. Now they file quarterly return. So QRMP, as this scheme is called, which got launched from 1st of January, is a major relief for small taxpayers. Then EVC, that is electronic verification code. Using OTP kind of facility, they can file their returns from home. Earlier, everyone needed in law a digital signature. So these are the kind of measures which have made life of a taxpayer easier. And there are very large number of other measures, but if there are specific areas which you would want to know about, I would be happy to list them out.
You've mentioned small businesses. GST is essentially a business transaction-driven tax, and it's linked to the fundamental business processes of sales and procurement and logistics, etc. Can you talk a little bit about how smaller and mid-sized businesses can hope for a simpler regime? How are you simplifying the whole system and bringing about the ease of doing business that you are talking of? Because while larger businesses are able to handle some of the requirements of GST, smaller businesses sometimes struggle to meet with those requirements.
I will divide their problems in two parts. One is basically technology uptake challenges. When compliance is to be done on IT platform, digital divide comes in play. So those are areas where hand-holding comes into operation, and we have a very robust system of call center where we hand-hold all the taxpayers, the small ones, and try to help them negotiate the portal. And in first or second experience, after a while, they become quite proficient. Similarly, when a new functionality comes, what we try to do is come up with creatives which are also in regional languages so that it is widespread. And we use social media extensively to make those creatives popular. These are tools which are there for hand-holding the taxpayer who's facing. Otherwise, on policy front, as I explained, that quarterly return monthly payment scheme, effectively for each quarter of a financial year, earlier they used to file 3 GSTR1s and 3 GSTR3Bs, which effectively meant 6. Now they file only 2. So from 24, the number of compliances which they have to do by this policy initiative has been reduced to 8. So small taxpayers can now avail of this. By small here, I mean those having turnover of less than 5 crores. Already 40 lakh taxpayers are availing of this benefit, which was launched by the government from 1st of April. Over and above that, there are other simplification measures. For example, for filing of refund application, if you ended up making a mistake, the refund application can now be electronically withdrawn. Registration has been linked with Aadhaar, therefore based on Aadhaar number and Aadhaar validated registration can be given in 7 days. Similarly, we have started giving pre-filled return to all the taxpayers before the due date. So all you have to do is check whether those pre-filled returns have adequate information or not. And if you are satisfied with what has been generated by the system as pre-filled returns, you can file them. Similarly, your ITC flow. ITC is a major area where everyone is always worried. What is my ITC? How much to pay? We have started input tax credit. We have started giving a statement like what you get to see in income tax 26AS. That what is your credit will be visible to you every month. So it helps in various, what we are trying to do is transparently make more and more information available and more pre-filled forms to be given so that taxpayer is in a soft way nudged towards easier compliance and accurate and correct compliance. So those are the measures which have been taken to enhance the compliance and make it easier for the taxpayer.
We're talking about challenges of compliance, etc. Pandemic itself has been a major challenge for every aspect of the economy. There has been economic contraction as well, which obviously will then affect the GST revenue collections. Though I think we are seeing turnaround there as well now. Can you tell a little bit about your experience with the pandemic? How have you managed things and how has it impacted our overall collections?
Overall collections, last year numbers are already there in public domain. As far as 21-22 is concerned, I would say that our worst is over. As you know, the GST collection takes place next month. That means for the economic activity of April, the revenue comes in May. For economic activity of May, the revenue comes in June. Economic activity of June, the revenue will come in the month of July. So 1 month late you get to know. For the month of May, now we are collecting revenue. The second important dynamic number which we constantly get to see are the e-way bill numbers. Based on these two numbers, I will say that we are past the worst, as it is also visible in the number of new infections, etc. And we are back to normal economic activity level, which you used to see towards the first part of April when the pandemic had not taken over. There was a period of 40-45 days when economic activity did take a hit, revenue did take a hit, but the impact is a lot less than what it was in the first wave. So businesses have been smart, plus the pandemic has been of shorter period, plus there are compliance reliefs which were given by GST Council and also technology relief by way of EVC, electronic verification code, OTP kind of facility wherein you need not go to your office to do the compliance. Collective of these measures have helped the taxpayers kind of go back to business, and as we see from the numbers around, we are on a healthy path and the worst is definitely behind us of the second wave.
Were there any learnings from the pandemic that have stayed on, and even though you're saying that the worst is over, is there something that you will keep working on because you learned it from the pandemic?
What I have learned is most of the taxpayers came to say that give us remote filing facility, give us more and more data which makes our lives easier. So EVC facility, as I was explaining, electronic verification code facility has to be made much more wider, and government has already taken decision that for most of the forms to start developing EVC policy. We will be working on that. Then make more and more data available to them in a pre-filled manner so that compliance becomes easier. Those are two steps from technology side, which is there as a learning for us. And on policy side, I'm quite sure that government is looking into other policy initiatives in terms of what are the COVID relief medicines, etc. You would have seen that I think government is better placed to comment as to how the tax relief has been given on all those items. I would say that learning is beyond technology. If I have to say one learning, because we are on a radio, that COVID appropriate behavior is very critical to ensure and vaccination so that every person in our office and businesses, those who are involved, must at least take care of these two things because economic activity is linked to these two things being done by the citizens. So citizen has to kind of do that. That's a learning.
Now, states have also said that difficulties increasingly in managing their own fiscal positions, and they've asked the centre to step in to assist them. What is your view of that situation, and what do you think centre needs to do to ensure trust with the states, these issues?
I will say that what you get to read in the media about trust deficit is little exaggerated. My experience of the council has been that this federal experiment is a very healthy experiment and center and states are in a position to get together to find solution to most of the difficult problems. In the last council meeting, as the press release indicated, that there will be a specific council meeting to discuss these issues. I am quite certain that very honorable and senior wise political executives who join there to discuss will find a solution to the problem as they had found last time. And going forward, I do not see that as an area which will be a sticking point for GST to become successful. Solutions would be found collectively in the GST Council to all these issues.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with beneficiaries of various schemes of Digital India on Thursday through video conferencing. The program is being organized by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology on the occasion of completion of 6 years of Digital India since its launch by Prime Minister on 1st of July in 2015.
External Affairs Minister on Wednesday underscored that food-focused safety nets must be ensured along with mass vaccination to overcome the COVID challenge. Addressing the G20 World Food Programme ministerial event on humanitarian logistics, the minister shared India's experience of meeting the food needs of over 800 million citizens. He said India has also provided wheat to 5 nations and rice to 6 nations during the period, using innovative logistical approaches. Dr. Jaishankar stated that as a first responder, India met human assistance and disaster relief and COVID needs across the region. He stressed that the world must understand that better logistics is key to decentralize globalization. Over 33 crore 28 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive in India. The Indian Health Ministry today said the recovery rate in the country has improved to 96.92%. The death toll due to the pandemic has reached over 3,98,000.
Russia reported 669 coronavirus deaths over the past 24 hours, a record number of fatalities for the second day in a row, according to a government tally. The country is grappling with a spike of infections spurred by highly infectious Delta variant and sluggish vaccination rates. Bangladesh government have issued a notification for the strict lockdown starting from 1st to 7th of July in order to control the spread of coronavirus in the country. According to the notification, all offices, including the government, semi-government, autonomous and private ones, will remain closed throughout the country. Public transport, including railways, roadways, waterways and domestic flights, will remain suspended. However, international flights will continue to operate. This is All India Radio giving you the world news.
The centre is disseminating awareness of national helpline numbers for the benefit of citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. The helpline number of the Health and Family Welfare Ministry is 1075. The child helpline number is 1098. For senior citizens of Delhi, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the helpline number is 14567. The helpline number of National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, for psychological support is 08046110007. Ayush COVID-19 counselling helpline number is 14443 and MyGov WhatsApp help desk number is 9013151515.
Welcome back to the World News. With around 22 days remaining for the start of the Tokyo Olympics, All India Radio brings a special series on India's medal prospects at the sporting extravaganza. Today, we'll talk about the young swimmer from Kerala, Sajan Prakash.
Sajan Prakash, a young swimmer from Kerala, created history by securing an Olympic quota in the 200-meter butterfly category to secure his place at the Tokyo Olympics. He crossed the Olympic A qualification time by clocking 1 minute 56.38 seconds in the Sette Colli Trophy in Rome. He is the first Indian athlete to do so. Sajan holds 11 national swimming records in various swimming events. Sajan is currently busy preparing for the Tokyo Olympics in full swing. In an exclusive interview with AIR News, Sajan shared his first reaction on his qualification.
First reaction when I saw the time board, I saw my coaches jumping in the stands and I had happy tears on me, and then when I came out and I walked, I saw my coach. He was literally crying and he came and hugged me, and there is no beautiful feeling than that thing.
Sajan shares about his swimming journey.
I had this sports gene in me. I was very athletic when I was young, and we had a solid team in Neyveli Lignite Corporation with swimming, and the coaches were very professional and ethical. So I think slowly we started progressing in the sport. And in 2011, when I was 17, I moved to Bangalore to swim with Mr. Pradeep Kumar, and that's when I could see the real change happening with the swimming with the national level swimmers and who are Olympians already, and that's when the big change happened. And in 2015, my professional career was in different level. I could see myself getting very close to the Olympic qualifying time.
Sajan spoke on his preparedness amidst the challenges faced by the COVID-19 pandemic.
As I said, we put all the effort in the pool during our training period in the last 1 year. So we didn't have any doubts. I created this race pace during the training sessions where I could see myself progress to better my timings over the period. I think I gained more confidence with that.
Sajan thanked the Prime Minister for his encouragement.
I think it's a great encouragement. We need this encouragement as many times so we could go step by step to next level of our career and get our passion right for our country.
Sajan appealed to the listeners of All India Radio to shower the Indian Olympic contingent with their wishes.
If you love your work and if you are passionate at any point, just be patient and one day you will see miracles happening.
Sajan is all set to write a new chapter in swimming at the Tokyo Olympics, and the entire country in one voice wish him all the best. Siddharth Singh, Sports Desk.
Ace Indian sprinter Duti Chand has qualified for the upcoming Tokyo Olympics in both 100-meter and 200-meter races via the World Rankings quota. 22 spots were available in 100-meter and 15 spots in 200-meter via the World Rankings route. Chand's overall position of world number 44 in 100-meter and world number 51 in 200-meter were well within the ranks to make her eligible to fly to Tokyo next month. Duti Chand failed in her last race to secure a direct Olympic qualification spot after finishing a disappointing fourth in the women's 100-meter final at the ongoing 60th National Interstate Senior Athletics Championships. Indian swimmer Srihari Nataraj officially booked himself a Tokyo Olympics berth after the sport's world governing body FINA approved his A standard qualification time in the men's 100 backstroke time trial at the Sette Colli Trophy in Rome.
In the run-up to Tokyo Olympics, News Services Division of All India Radio News in a sports scan program will broadcast every day Olympics quiz with AIR News, Olympics quiz Akashvani Samachar ke saath in Hindi from July 1st. Every day a question related to Olympics will be asked at the beginning and closing of the program. To participate in this program, listeners can send their replies by email on airsportscan@gmail.com. The first correct answer received will be declared the winner of the quiz. The name of the winner will be announced in the SportsCan program next day. It will also be flashed on a Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts. Sports Authority of India will provide India team jersey to the winner. So tune into SportsCan program every day at 7:20 p.m. on FM Gold and a YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. In Wimbledon tennis, Novak Djokovic, the top seed and two-time defending champion, has stormed into third round of men's singles. Djokovic defeated South African's Kevin Anderson by 6-3, 6-3, 6-3 in a second-round match at Centre Court this evening. Earlier in men's singles, 8-time winner Roger Federer, two-time champion Andy Murray and fourth seed Alexander Zverev, and in women's singles, world number 1 Ashley Barty and second seed Elina Svitolina have advanced to the second round.
In the Eurocup football, battle lines have been drawn for the quarter-final matches. The three-time European champion Spain will now face Switzerland on Friday night in the first encounter, while Belgium will take on Italy in the second match later. Czech Republic will lock horns with Denmark in the third quarter-final, and England will take on Ukraine in the fourth quarter-final on Saturday night in Rome. China's ruling party, the Communist Party of China, will celebrate the 100th anniversary of its founding on the 1st of July 2021. Chinese capital Beijing is under unprecedented state of security control ahead of Thursday celebrations at the historic Tiananmen Square, with armed police forces and surveillance cameras all around the city. In women's cricket, chasing the target of 222 runs set by India Eves, England were 25 for 1 in 6.3 overs in the second ODI of the three-match series at the county ground in Taunton when reports last came in. India were bundled out for 221 runs in stipulated 50 overs. Earlier, England won the toss and opted to field.
Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world, as reported in the foreign press. Washington Post writes that China marks century of Communist Party with pageantry, propaganda and an iron grip. Sputnik News writes that Spanish Prime Minister Sanchez rules out possibility of independence referendum in Catalonia. Sputnik News also reports that US reportedly calls on EU to postpone introduction of digital tax plan. Wall Street Journal writes that Delta variant spread out spaces Australia's COVID-19 contact tracers. Himalayan Times reports that COVID-19 rising among children as Indonesia crisis grows. Gulf Times reports that Tokyo makes 10 coronavirus curves into game spirit. Financial Times writes that EU could be destroyed by national legal challenges, Brussels warns. Financial Times writes that German official calls for government bodies to close Facebook pages, and The Guardian reports that Joe Biden blames climate crisis for deadly heat wave in western US and Canada. Today is the International Asteroid Day. This year's International Asteroid Day marks the 113th anniversary of the largest recorded asteroid impact that took place near the Tunguska River in remote Russian Siberia. According to scientists who study near-Earth objects, or NEOs, most asteroids are irregularly shaped. They're often pitted or have been tiny craters.
A quick look at the headlines once again. Union Cabinet gives nod to stimulus package of 6,20,000 crore rupees announced by Indian Finance Minister as part of Atmanirbhar Bharat package. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauds goods and service tax system on completion of 4 years on Thursday. Terms GST a milestone in economic landscape of India. Food-focused safety nets must be ensured along with mass vaccination to overcome COVID challenge, says External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. Indian athlete Duti Chand and swimmer Srihari Natraj qualify for Tokyo Olympics. And in Wimbledon tennis, top seed Novak Djokovic storms into the third round of men's singles. India is celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let us listen to his favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Janto, by artists from Tanzania. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.